Ever wondered what really happens if a cruise ship gets attacked by pirates? Or what your chances are if you fall overboard in the middle of the night? And what if, just imagine, the ship leaves port without you in some foreign country? Yeah, it sounds dramatic, but these things have actually happened, and today we're pulling back the curtain on the cruise ship's secrets no one ever tells the passengers, the kind of stuff the cruise lines would rather you never ask about. So grab your life jacket. We're about to dive into the secrets that could seriously rock the boat. A cruise vacation is supposed to be pure bliss, sunny decks, bottomless margaritas, maybe a jazz trio by the pool. But every once in a while, that dream turns into something straight out of an action movie. April 2009. The MSC Melody is sailing 500 miles off the coast of Somalia with nearly 1,000 passengers on board. It's late evening, the ocean is calm, and then a small white speedboat appears on the radar. 6 armed Somali pirates aboard. Within minutes, shots are fired. Passengers are ordered back to their cabins. No one knows what's going to happen next. Robbery? Hijacking? Or are they about to go full pirate fantasy and make people walk the plank? So how do cruise ships deal with actual pirate threats? Well, pirate attacks on cruise ships are rarer than a snowstorm in the Caribbean, but that doesn't mean they aren't prepared. In fact, modern ships are way more equipped than most people realize. They use an automated identification system, basically a radar handshake that constantly broadcasts the ship's location. If an unknown vessel approaches and doesn't respond, the ship goes into defensive mode. One of the first tools they use is a long-range acoustic device. It's a non-lethal sound cannon that blasts high-frequency waves up to 300 meters, loud enough to cause permanent hearing damage. And if that doesn't do the trick, there's the P-trap system, floating wires deployed around the hull that tangle up incoming propellers. Think of it as nautical tripwires. Still not enough? Then it's time for water cannons. And these aren't the kind kids play with at a splash park. These are high-pressure jets blasting seawater at 80 miles per hour, strong enough to knock people off boats or swamp their engines. And if things escalate further, some ships quietly carry armed security teams, just like the MSC Melody did. What no one on board knew at the time was that a fully armed Israeli security team was stationed on the ship. As soon as the attack began, the crew cut the lights, activated the water cannons, and aimed straight at the pirates' boarding ladder. Only when live rounds were fired did the pirates finally retreat, disappearing into the night without ever setting foot on the ship. Now, incidents like this are extremely rare. Pirates usually go after cargo ships, fewer people, more ransom potential. Cruise ships, they're full of sunscreen, inflatable flamingos, and frozen daiquiris. Even the pirates probably took one look and went, "You know what? Never mind." If pirates don't get you, port day just might. Here's a nightmare every cruiser secretly dreads: coming back from a fun little beach day, shopping bag in hand, only to see your cruise ship slowly drifting away from the pier. And no, they won't turn around. February 2019, a couple sailing with Royal Caribbean returns to the Bahamas port, 45 minutes late. They run, they wave, they scream. The ship doesn't even blink. It just pulls away like it's saying, "You had one job." Why so cold? Because cruise ships run on hyper-strict schedules, down to the minute. These itineraries are booked years in advance, and every delay in port can cost the cruise line thousands in fees and ripple into late arrivals for the next destination. Translation: if you're late, you're left. Now, you might think, but won't they notice I'm not on board? Oh, they'll notice. Every time you leave or return to the ship, your cruise card gets scanned. That little plastic card keeps track of who's on and who's still out wandering the souvenir stalls. If you're still missing when it's time to sail, the crew might swing by your cabin, grab your essentials, passport, wallet, and leave them with the local port agent, along with a friendly little note: "Good luck." So what happens next if you get left behind? First stop, the nearest consulate to get temporary travel documents. Then, you'll be scrambling to figure out how to catch up with the ship by plane, ferry, or sheer desperation. And here's the kicker: if you booked your excursion through a third party, not through the cruise line, you're completely on your own. No refund, no help, no sympathy. Back to that couple in the Bahamas, it was the final stop of their 7-day cruise. They were this close to finishing the trip, only to get stranded and pay their own way back to Miami. So how do you avoid this cruise disaster? One word: ship time. Cruise ships often pass through multiple time zones, and while some lines, like Norwegian, adjust the onboard clocks at each stop, others, like Royal Caribbean, stick with the time from the original departure port for the entire cruise. That means the clock on your phone might be an hour off without you realizing it. And that extra hour of beach bliss might land you on YouTube as that couple who missed the boat. Pro tip: set your phone to airplane mode and manually match it to ship time. Or better yet, just pretend the ship is your grumpy aunt who always leaves early. Show up 10 minutes ahead every time. You'll thank yourself later. Up on deck, it's all frozen cocktails, poolside trivia, and steel drums playing Bob Marley covers. But just a few floors below, there's a whole other world that most passengers never even know exists. It's the hidden engine room of your vacation, a place where more than 1,000 crew members work around the clock to keep the floating city running smoothly. On luxury ships like Viking Mars, the staff-to-guest ratio is nearly 1-to-1. Even on larger ships, it's usually one crew member for every 1.5 passengers. So yeah, someone is always cleaning, cooking, folding, fixing, delivering, or sprinting through a hallway with a stack of fresh towels. But don't let the smiles and towel animals fool you. Working on a cruise ship is no vacation. Most crew members sign contracts that last anywhere from 4 to 9 months. That means working 10 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, without a single day off. And many of them wear more hats than a souvenir stand. One minute they're bartending, the next they're leading karaoke, scrubbing cabins, or teaching Zumba on deck. If you think your job is stressful, imagine being the bartender, janitor, and hype man, all in the same uniform. So how do they move around so efficiently without constantly running into guests? Welcome to one of the ship's best-kept secrets, the I-95. No, not the highway. It's a narrow, crew-only corridor that runs the full length of the ship below passenger decks, connecting everything from the laundry rooms to the kitchens, crew cabins, storage, and engine control. It's like a secret, underground freeway that keeps the whole ship humming. Speaking of crew cabins, don't picture spa tubs and ocean views. About 85% of the crew live below the waterline in shared rooms, usually 2 to 4 people per cabin, with communal bathrooms. Meanwhile, the captain's suite upstairs, floor-to-ceiling windows, a private balcony, probably better Wi-Fi than you've got at home. 2 different planets. And before you get too flirty with your favorite bartender, just know cruise lines have very strict rules about crew and guests getting too friendly. Even off-duty, there are boundaries. That said, crew members aren't robots. They've got their own gyms, lounges, self-serve buffets, little shops, and even crew-only bars where they can finally unwind after a 14-hour shift. Once their contract ends, most crew members go home for a few weeks, or if they're lucky, a couple of months, before signing back on for another round. Some of them spend years at sea without ever stepping foot in the ports you're exploring for a single afternoon. So the next time you're sipping a piña colada at sunset, take a second to think about the people racing around below your feet. They're the reason your vacation feels like magic, even if their workday feels more like a marathon. Cruise ships are built for every kind of vacation vibe: honeymooners, retirees, party crews, solo adventurers. But there's one thing they don't put in the brochure. Somewhere below deck, there's a space reserved for a very different kind of guest. Yes, many large cruise ships have a morgue on board. Why? Because with thousands of people at sea, many of them older, it's not that rare for someone to pass away during the voyage, especially on longer cruises that stretch across weeks. It's not something anyone wants to think about, but cruise lines plan for everything. Now, before you imagine some CSI scene unfolding near the shuffleboard court, relax. When a passenger dies, it's handled quietly, respectfully, and by trained staff. The body is moved to the onboard morgue, usually a refrigerated room that can hold up to 6 people, and kept there until the ship reaches the next port, where local authorities take over. Most passengers never even realize it happened. But here's where things take a weird turn. There's an old rumor among cruise crew. If the ship suddenly starts giving out free ice cream to everyone, it might mean they had to clear space in the freezer. No joke. Of course, the cruise lines deny this completely. They insist the morgue is totally separate from food storage, and the ice cream thing is just an urban myth. Still, next time you're handed complimentary Rocky Road at breakfast, maybe don't ask too many questions. Want a more official sign that something serious happened? Listen for Operation Rising Star over the intercom or crew radios. That's cruise industry code for a death on board. It's their way of saying something major just happened, but let's keep things classy. So yes, cruise ships have morgues. No, it's not creepy. It's just part of being prepared when you're floating in the middle of the ocean with thousands of people. And honestly, if you had to go out, champagne in hand under a sunset at sea, there are far worse ways to say goodbye. Ever been lounging by the pool, daiquiri in hand, when the ship's intercom crackles and you hear, "Bravo, bravo, bravo, deck 7? You glance around. No one panics. No one even looks up. And you're left wondering, was that a fire drill, a party invite, or should I be running? Welcome to the secret language of cruise ships. Behind the scenes, the crew uses code words to deal with emergencies without causing a full-blown panic. These aren't random. They're quick, precise, and designed to keep you calm while they handle chaos. Let's break a few of them down, in plain English. If you hear Alpha, that means someone on board is having a medical emergency. It's the crew's cue to respond fast, no questions asked. Bravo? That one's serious. It means there's a fire. And yes, it's real, not a drill. When Delta is called, it could signal anything from flooding to a structural issue or a hazardous spill. Definitely not the kind of situation you want to hear about during dinner service. Now, if you ever hear Zulu over the speakers and see security moving a little faster than usual, it likely means there's been a physical altercation somewhere on the ship. Might be time to put down your mimosa and casually shift a few deck chairs away. And here's one that's less dramatic but no less real. PVI. That stands for Public Vomit Incident. Yep, it's exactly what it sounds like. Glamorous, right? But the one that truly makes everyone snap to attention is Oscar, also known as Mr. MOB. It stands for Man Overboard. When that word hits the airwaves, everything changes in an instant. We'll get into exactly what happens in the next section. So why use codes at all? Simple. Because no one wants to hear there's a fire in the kitchen and someone just fell off the ship while they're halfway through their Eggs Benedict. These codes let the crew respond immediately without freaking out passengers who just want a peaceful brunch. So next time you hear something strange on the speakers, don't panic, but do listen. If they say bravo and you smell smoke, maybe skip dessert and find your muster station, just in case. You're probably thinking, how does anyone even fall off a cruise ship? These railings are taller than I am. And you'd be right. It's rare. But when it does happen, everything changes in a matter of seconds. The official term is man overboard, and it's one of the most serious emergencies at sea. When someone goes over the railing, the ship launches into a full-blown response mode. The bridge, the ship's command center, is alerted immediately. You might hear code Oscar or Mr. MOB over the PA system. That's the crew's cue to drop everything and respond. If the ship is moving, the captain will swing the entire vessel around. Yes, a multi-thousand-ton cruise liner doing a U-turn in open water. Maritime law requires that any nearby ships assist with the search as well. And no, they don't just hope for the best. Most modern cruise ships are equipped with overboard detection systems. Think infrared sensors and motion-triggered cameras monitoring the rails 24/7. The moment someone goes over, the system logs the exact time and GPS location, so the search doesn't start with somewhere in the ocean, but rather right here, 3 minutes ago. So how does it even happen? 3 words: alcohol, selfies, and overconfidence. In 2019, a man named Nick Nadev jumped off the 11th deck of Symphony of the Seas while it was docked in the Bahamas. For fun, for views, for TikTok. No one really knows. Miraculously, he survived. Unsurprisingly, he was banned for life from Royal Caribbean and likely every other ship with a pool deck. But not all incidents are stunts. Some are quiet accidents no one sees. Take James Grimes. He fell overboard from Carnival Valor in 2022. His family thought he was just at the bar. Turns out he was treading water in the dark for 20 hours with sharks, and somehow he lived to tell the story. Between 2000 and 2019, there were 212 man overboard incidents on cruise ships. Only 48 people were rescued. That's why U.S. law now requires all cruise ships docking at American ports to have railings at least 42 inches high. But even with that, physics and foolishness sometimes win. So what's the takeaway here? Don't climb the rail. Don't lean over just for the photo. And if you've had one too many piña coladas, maybe it's not the time to record a windswept selfie. Cruise ships are engineered for safety, but even the smartest ship in the world can't fix stupid. Cruising sounds like a dream, right? You wake up in a new country every morning, hop off the ship, explore a little town, eat something unpronounceable, take a selfie with a parrot, and call it a port day. But if you ask a seasoned cruiser, they might tell you the real magic happens when you don't leave the ship at all. Here's why. When the ship docks, 90% of passengers rush ashore, and suddenly, the floating resort feels like your own private yacht. No lines at the buffet, no wrestling for pool chairs, no screaming kids on the water slide, just peaceful decks, wide open hot tubs, and bartenders who actually have time to chat. Spa appointments that were booked solid the day before. Suddenly wide open. The gym, practically yours. And the best part, many ship services quietly offer discounts on port days because demand drops while everyone's off chasing flamingo magnets and shot glasses. Let's be honest, those authentic local restaurants right outside port, half the time it's $18 tacos and lukewarm beer. You already paid for unlimited gourmet food on board. Why double dip? Now, if you love adventure and exploring, by all means, go for it. Just remember, port areas are often crowded, packed with tourists, and prime hunting grounds for pickpockets, especially when they know you're only in town for a few hours and carrying foreign cash. But if you're tired, traveling with kids, or just want a little peace and quiet, here's your power move. Stay on board. It's the same ship, same ice cream, same live music, but with a fraction of the people. Want the best of both worlds? Let the morning rush clear out. Take your time, enjoy a quiet breakfast, then stroll ashore while everyone else is melting in the noon sun. Be back early, grab a fresh plate of lunch, and enjoy round 2 of a near-empty ship. Because sometimes, the best port day is no port at all. Turns out, the ultimate luxury isn't a gold-plated suite. It's a pool with no kids and a bartender who already knows your drink order. So now you know. The pirates, the hidden morgues, the secret codes, the balcony suites that wobble, and yes, even the ice cream that might, just maybe, mean someone kicked the bucket. Cruise ships aren't just floating hotels, they're floating worlds. And behind every frozen daiquiri, every towel animal, every poolside trivia game, there's an entire hidden system making it all look effortless, until it doesn't. But the good news? You're not just another passenger anymore. You know not to lean over the railings. You know to double-check ship time. You know that bringing CBD gummies on board might get you banned faster than a bad karaoke performance. You're the kind of cruiser who tips their steward, stays on board on port day like a pro, and doesn't end up chasing their ship down the pier in a panic with flip-flops in hand. And that's next-level cruising. Got a wild cruise story of your own? Maybe you spotted a secret hallway. Maybe you almost missed the ship. Or maybe you ate the minibar Toblerone and acted like it never happened. Drop your story in the comments. Hit that thumbs up if you learned something new. And subscribe if you want more cruise tips, insider stories, and behind-the-scenes secrets. We've got plenty more coming. Until then, happy sailing, and we'll see you on deck.